r/ask Reddit. People who are 40 and happy with their life, what is your advice to people in their 20s? I'm 40 years old and I have 3 pieces of advice for anyone in their 20s. Accept that perfection doesn't exist. Your relationships will have problems, your car will break down, someone else will always have a better phone, a newer car, or a bigger house than you, no matter where on the social ladder you stand. Constantly chasing perfection will keep you permanently stressed. That doesn't mean you should not try to better your life, just know that if you expect perfection, you will never be satisfied. Pay attention to your diet and health. I have been working out at least 4 times per week since my mid-20s. I am fitter, healthier, and look younger than almost everyone else my age. Don't stop doing the things you love. Even though I have a wife, kids, job, etc., I still make time to play video games, draw, write stories, read comics, play basketball, listen to music, etc. There is no reason to become a miserable old idiot. Relax more. Don't get angry over little things. While others talk about material things or experiences, the real lesson is to accept that things won't always go the way you want them to, and that's okay. Didn't marry your perfect spouse? That person doesn't exist. And appreciate those who love you for who you are. Or find new people. Didn't buy the perfect car? Oh well, it still gets you where you're going. Define your criteria for the next one and work towards it. Didn't get the perfect house? Probably not. But it's yours, and you can fix it. Didn't get that promotion? Don't be so sure it would have worked out the way you think it would have. The vacation wasn't perfect? Are you sure about that, or were your expectations too high? Point is, relax, enjoy the ride. Work to your goals, but remember, none of it matters if you can't enjoy it along the way. I'm 40 and this is my input. Everyone is focused on themselves to care too much about their opinion of you, so freak what they think. Zero debt is an amazing feeling. Think twice before dropping that down payment on that fully loaded 2020 Dream Mobile that offers nothing but looks and depreciates value quickly. Falling out of love is perhaps more powerful than falling in love. Use up all of your vacation time and sick time at work. Don't lose sight of the hobbies you enjoyed as a child. They will help you live as you grow older. Family is not necessarily blood, but instead, who you would bleed for. There are just as many benefits to being a night owl as there are to being an early bird. Forgive yourself first before forgiving others. Do not be a doormat in submission, but hold the door open in kindness. Get a regular exercise routine and stick to it like your quality of life depends on it, because it does. I was a raging alcoholic in my 20s and thought I would never recover from it. I never found a real job using my first degree or my master's. Part of it was because I was always drunk. Part of it was the job market at the time. I went back to school in my 30s and found something I like a whole lot more. Now I'm married, nearly 10 years sober, and have a great job. My point is, if you end up on the wrong path or don't like where you are, there's always time to turn around and change it. Too many people just assume they're stuck where they are and stuck with the issues they have. Take care of your teeth. This is the only set you're ever going to have, and you don't want to neglect them and mess them up as I did. I've got crap tons of fillings that don't last forever and need replacement. A filling isn't as good as the real thing, and filled teeth can break, requiring crowns. I have 2, and it sucks. Brush and floss thoroughly every single day without exception. Heck, get an electric toothbrush. See the dentist regularly. Ditch the sugary drinks. Everything you get becomes something you have. Learn how to be happy having things instead of getting them. Start saving now for your retirement. Avoid debt, floss daily, exercise daily. It's not a race. Stop comparing yourself to others. Just because they did things sooner than you doesn't mean they're happier or better. Try to start good habits. It is a little rough at first, but in a few years, it will be second nature. Do this with things like cooking, cleaning, saving money, and self-care. It is okay to not like someone. It is also okay to have someone not like you. People are going to not like you for no reason. That is okay. It's a them issue and not a you issue. Don't be an ass to everyone and give them a reason to dislike you. But also know that you are under no obligation to put up with someone else's bad friendship. There is no shame in seeing a mental health professional. When I was 22, an older gentleman asked me how old I was and then told me, "When you are twice that age, you'll be twice the man you are today." I almost considered it a slight at that moment, but time has proven him wise. Here I am, twice that age, and, in my humble estimation, twice the man I was then. I believe this is chiefly because I have learned that kindness is not a weakness, humility serves you better than pride, and cruelty is a fool's game. Don't put yourself in ridiculous amounts of debt trying to portray a certain image. You'll spend your entire life trying to get out of the hole you dug, or you'll have to declare bankruptcy. Set aside enough money to cover 3 to 6 months of expenses for emergencies, just like now. Moreover, save now for your retirement years. It doesn't require much, and if you have it taken directly from your paycheck, you won't be inclined to not pay yourself first. Take care of your body. Exercise to maintain a healthy weight and good cardiovascular health. As you get older, it's much harder to maintain these. Enjoy the days of your youth without going overboard. There is nothing wrong with having a good time, yet if you are always waking up and wondering what happened last night, why you can't remember how you spent so much money, or you always have a hangover, you should tone it down a bit. Don't take advice or criticism as a personal attack. Most times the people who care about you have observed behavior in you which is off-putting. Doesn't reflect who you really are or could be or would make you a more rounded person. It's never too late to start again. All in my 20s, I thought I couldn't just restart my career or dump a useless boyfriend or go back to school because I was already on a certain trajectory. Made my choices, now I gotta make the best of it. That's total bullcrap. You have no idea how incredibly young you are and how much time you have to do whatever you want to do. When I figured this out, I found the man of my dreams, had a kid in my late 30s, dropped my entire career in my late 40s, and started a new one at 50, and it's awesome. Go have an adventure of a lifetime. Don't put it off. Make plans for your money. Stay out of debt. You don't need that new car, watch, or handbag. Material items are not worth your sanity. Have a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. Don't waste time on anyone who disrespects you. Have a backbone, but don't be rude. Not everything needs your reaction. Find someone who you can spend endless time with. Talk about ideas, not people. Above all, freak what anyone thinks. I'll be 41 this year. Don't fall for the trap that your life needs to be one long narrative that you should just be building. Life is best when it's a bunch of happy moments that just happen to be connected. Don't try to make your life into a novel. Make it a book of poems. I'm 46 and here's what I know. Money is important, but it's not the end-all be-all. It will not listen to your problems or hug you when you need it. Watch your weight, your blood pressure, and do not smoke. 75% of my patients that have the most serious diagnoses have at least one of these factors. Comparison will rob you of joy. Be happy for others, but don't feel you need to be like them. Let go of the little things. Stress will kill you. Chase your dreams. Life goes by so fast. You don't want to be 80 years old and regretting not traveling, pursuing your passion, etc. You cannot change someone. Whether a friend or a partner, their faults will not get better and you cannot rescue them. Don't waste your life on toxic people. Make a point of performing kind acts for others. It will greatly enrich your life. Now, go get your life. I'm nearly 40 and not very happy with my life. My advice for people in their 20s would be to focus on the important stuff. That's where I failed. Don't put off life. That's where I also failed. I focused on building a solid financial base and saving a ton of money. Here I am at 40, and I'm financially secure, probably for life. If I lost my job, I could flip burgers and live the same lifestyle I've been living. But I also have no one in life. If I was abducted by aliens today, it'd be days or weeks before anyone missed me. No one on the entire planet really knows me. I get gifts from my family for Christmas or my birthday or whatever, and it's stuff that relates to things I enjoyed as a small child because that's how they know me. I never pursued any relationships for the past 20 years because I was focused on financial stuff. I can't recall the last time I went on vacation that wasn't visiting my grandparents. At my age, I will probably never be married and will probably never be a father like I want to be. I'd give up all the financial security and career success I have to have someone I love here in quarantine with me. I freaked up my life and I know it. Don't ignore relationships. Chris Rock said it best. Now people tell your life is short. No, it's not. Life is long, especially if you make the wrong decisions. The point is, you've got time. Don't kill yourself trying to do it all now. When I was in college, I had the chance to go to Europe, but I passed because I had to work at a warehouse. I picked staying at a part-time warehouse job overseeing the world. When I finally went abroad in my 30s, it changed my perspective about everything and everyone. Go to another country that is far away and different than your own. This whole thread is wholesome. I'm 32, but I wish I would have spent more of my 20s listening to the advice of slightly older people, rather than trying to prove that I could figure it out on my own. Imagine how much energy I could have saved. Figure out what is important to you in life. A shocking amount of people never do this. The sooner you do, the better off you'll be. It is important for me to be able to take care of myself and have enough left over to support those I love. If I'm doing that, it is hard to get down, or be worried, or care what other people think of me, etc. I'm still going to pursue my career and other interests. I just don't have anything emotionally riding on their success, at least not in relation to my own sense of self-worth. I'm not doing a fun job or an inspiring job. I'm doing one that pays the most for the least work. For me, that's okay, because with the excess time, I can spend it with people I love. With the excess money, I can help pay for my friends who didn't get to go to college to do it now. I can take time off at a drop of a hat to fly across the country and help in a family emergency, etc. There is a phrase, live so God can use you. I'm not religious, but I do value the idea of setting your life up so when an opportunity to do something that you care about, that matters, arises, you're in a position to do it. Figure out what you want to do for yourself and what you want for others. It will make planning and achieving it easier. The biggest regret my dad has was not starting some sort of savings for his retirement when he was in his 20s. He didn't start putting money into his 401k until he was 30 or so. If you don't have access to a 401k, look into getting an IRA or something you can just chip something into every week or month. 70. Born and living in Australia. Very middle class all my life, but never a landowner, always renting. Generally very happy and satisfied. No need to be materialistic. If you live in a fair and civilized nation, no need to marry nor have children. No need to prove yourself to anyone. Just accumulate many skills and talents which will not go out of fashion. In my case, science studies, counseling and group work, business and admin skills, technology, including many academic and computer areas. Happily married for the last 25 years. Internet, technology, politics, etc. are so interesting, thrilling. Experiences over material items. You're not going to remember that pair of shoes or that expensive item, or if you do, the memory won't compare to that awesome adventure you went on or that great night out. I hesitate to give advice, being unqualified to do so. Instead, here are some points that may or may not be worthy of consideration. Time is very short, and as you get older, it speeds up more and more. Time is more important than money. In theory, you could end up a billionaire, but nobody is ever a time billionaire. Rich or poor, you're going to get maybe 100 years at the absolute max, and probably not that much. There will be several versions of you as you walk your path, but one version that kind of colors all the other versions. This version you could call the real you. It pays to spend time figuring out who the real you is. You will have to deal with people. Learn how to leave them happy to have been in your presence, and you will not lack for friends and loved ones. Speaking of loved ones, just because someone is a blood relative, it doesn't mean they're worth a crap. If your parent, sibling, or child is a complete jerk unworthy of your attention, don't waste further time on them. Find something you love to do and do that. Do it every day. It doesn't matter if you make money at it or get recognition because of it. Do it like Henry Darger did his writing and drawing, and like Vivian Mayer did her photography. Do good work. It is its own reward. I'm a geezer, 64 years old. It does not have to suck being old. I think it's freaking great, for many reasons. If you are lucky enough to have the love of a good woman, support her and she will support you. Two heads are better than one. I don't know what I'd do without my SO. Never take one day for granted. Get out there into the world and enjoy it. I'm 45 this year and plenty of my peers didn't make it and wasted their shot. Fail to plan to fail. Identify your goals and values. Don't confuse a step towards your goal or job for the goal of peace of mind and happiness. Don't fight reality. Reality is all there is. Don't waste time wishing it was different. Don't invent things that are not true. Reality is enough just as it is. Make choices based on your new framework, goals, and reality. Small daily choices are super important. Go to therapy. Figure out what your insecurities are, why you have them, and how to deal with them so that they don't define the rest of your life. Talk about your issues from childhood and your teens. If you don't do it now, you will make decisions based on or driven by those issues, and that will put you on a path you may not like. Maintain your friendships. In 20 years, you will be so grateful for those people who saw you through marriages, children, illness, and health. People who will go for a trip with you, love your kids, remember you as a young person. Friends are essential, but they require work. Don't be alone just because you don't want to be the person who reaches out to others. I didn't have kids. Long story short, we get to sleep in whenever, have more savings than average, a lot more time to dedicate to our 2 fur babies. I'm financially happy, so my advice in this regard is to not use your credit card unless you are 100% sure you can pay it off that month, and it's not a burden. Don't go into debt. I'm also happy with my children who are polite, intelligent, and happy themselves. My advice here is to always be true to your word with them, and always say please and thank you. Don't marry someone because you think it's something you have to do. The same goes for having children. I've done neither, even though my family has always hounded me to, and I'm incredibly happy with where I'm at. I can't think of how miserable I'd be making commitments like those just to make others happy. Put yourself first, people. Have 3 hobbies. 1 to keep you in shape, 1 to keep you creative, 1 to make you money. Don't fall victim to peer pressure and settle for a mate that isn't right for you. I didn't find my wife until I was almost 30, and it was totally worth waiting for the right one to come along. Save your money. I wish I could have back the thousands of dollars I threw in the fire partying at clubs. Choose a spouse based on this. 80% their moral compass, 10% how much you laugh together, 5% your similar hobbies, and 5% your physical attraction. You are never too old or too deep into something to just start over. If you aren't happy, do something else. I've read about people taking up marathons at 50. For me, every day is the potential for a new start. Don't like how I felt yesterday? Then I guess I'm doing something different today. I'm 50 now, so much left to do and so much time to do it. Don't buy new cars. Don't buy that house with an extra room. Don't buy anything until you have an emergency fund saved up. None of those things feel as good as not worrying about money feels. A 3-bedroom house isn't necessary. An emergency fund is necessary. If you can't afford the house and the emergency fund, that doesn't mean you can't afford the emergency fund. It means you can't afford the house. An emergency fund is non-negotiable. Find yourself a good person to be in a relationship with. Looks will fade, but that personality will be there forever. As you age, your friends will pair off and you'll find yourself hanging out with them less and less. They will have kids or move away, and you will find yourself either alone or with your partner during 99% of your free time. Humans do not do well being isolated and alone. Finding a healthy relationship is so important, and no one really talks about it, or just tells you to focus on your career. Having someone in your corner that always has your back will make life that much easier. Find someone with the same goals in life that you do, and hold on to them hard. Marry a brain, not a booty. You don't have to have kids and buy a minivan and live that life. It's totally fine if you don't. You might even be happier and a lot wealthier in the end. You're not weird or broken because you want to live a less normal life. A lot of us do it, you just don't see us marketed to on TV. Make decisions for yourself. Don't ignore the long-term ambitions for short-term fun, but definitely don't live the life that someone else wants you to live. Every dollar you save and invest in your 20s is worth a heck of a lot more than the ones in your 30s, 40s, and so on. If you are going to spend money, spend it creating experiences with yourself and other people. It's almost been kind of a cliche thing for the latest generation that you should only spend on experiences. But I don't give a freak about the sound system or computer I had 15 years ago. I do care about the friends that were made. Life is a marathon, not a sprint. Run accordingly. Do some exercise, stay out of debt, learn people's names. It's a good habit and you never know where it might lead. I got lost in a third world country, but remember the son of the guy who owned the hostel was called Pan, picked up by someone who called someone who knew him. Without having chatted with him and learned his name, I'd still have made it back, but it would have been way more difficult. Travel, and be okay with having the confidence to just live out of your backpack and see where things take you. It really prepares you for later life. Over 2 years, I was lost in the jungle, swum between tropical islands, run over hot coals, slept in weird places, worked some crazy jobs, and hitchhiked around Asia. And it makes you very resilient and good at seeing solutions in difficult times once you're older.